Hi there, my history and geography 7th graders. I am Miss Ray-Budman, and I am here to give you some help and some instructions and some guidance for your first project. So you have a point of view project that has been assigned to you. There are projects in all of our units. Some units we have one or two projects, and sometimes we have more. But this is the first one that you have for Unit 1. Projects are worth 100 points, so they are big parts of your unit. So I want to make sure that you're prepared and give you some tips as you get started on it. Now you'll notice that on Odysseyware, all of your lesson assignments, projects, and quizzes all have what they call the due date. It's important for you to remember that that is a pacing due date. Odysseyware, not me, but Odysseyware sets up a pacing for all of your lessons. It's to basically keep you on track so that you don't get too far ahead, and obviously we definitely don't want you to get too far behind. So the pacing due date for your point of view project is Friday. That's tomorrow. And some of you are ready to work on it and start it and will probably be on track to do that. Some of you might be a little behind. It's the first week. That's fine. Due dates they're in Keola are not like they are if we were in school. So it's not like you get points deducted if you don't have your project turned in on the pacing due date. What it does mean, however, is that I get a little notification and your parents get a little notification saying that something is overdue. That just means that it wasn't completed by the pacing due date. Now, if you turn it in a day or even 2 or 3 days afterwards, it'll still be accepted. That's not a problem. Obviously, the issue is we don't want anyone to get so far behind that they become overwhelmed. So if you don't have your point of view project in by tomorrow and it shows up as overdue on Odysseyware, I'm not going to stress about it right away, but if I don't have it by Monday or Tuesday, then I'll probably be bugging you. And you should not be passing the project and going to the next set of lessons. If you start doing that, then we'll step in and obviously there'll be a discussion about how to penalize things that aren't turned in on time. So at this point, you just want to try to work on it. If you can get it finished by tomorrow, great. If you miss the pacing due date and you turn it in a few days, that's fine too. You just want to use those pacing due dates to make sure you're kind of on track for what you're doing. So let's talk a little bit about this project that you have. So it's about point of view. And point of view, another way of seeing point of view is perspective. So everything we do and we see and things that occur in history are all based off of a person's perspective. We develop our perspectives by the way where we live, how we live, our religions or lack of religion, our families, our societies, what time you were growing up. Obviously, for example, you have a very different perspective on cell phones than I do. I didn't grow up with cell phones, but because of your own upbringing and experience, your view of them is different than mine. Part of point of view and perspective is understanding that there is bias. So we all make personal judgments based off of our own experiences. And so when we look at history, we always have to look at through the lens of whose view are we looking at? And then when we see that view, is that view bias? So are we really only seeing it from one person's side? And is that really an accurate or fair portrayal of it? So that's what I want you to think of. So I put 2 pictures here. Both of these are from Hiroshima, the bombing of Hiroshima during World War II. This man here, this Japanese man, has a very different view of what happened at Hiroshima than the American military, which would have this view. What we think about the bombing of Hiroshima is different because we have a different perspective on it. And that's part of what you're going to look at in this project that you're going to do for this unit. So here are the directions. These are on Odysseyware. I basically copied and pasted them. So I just want you to take a look at them. You have them in Odysseyware for you to look at. You are going to go to a newspaper, an online newspaper. You're going to find 2 different editorials. So now they can be on the same topic if you want them to be, but they don't have to be. So let's say you really care about climate change. You could look for an editorial. That's an opinion piece, not an article of all fact, all right, but an editorial. Or it could be something on history, or maybe you're really interested in politics and the election. You could pick that. There'll be lots for you to find when it comes to that. So the directions are on there. You're going to make a source list. So make sure you save, bookmark your editorial so you can go back to it, because you'll need the title, the author, the publication, and the date it was published. You'll then write about what the editorial is about and what the author states about the topic as the major points. But then you're going to look for, well, what is this author's perspective? Are they very pro or con, or are they looking at it from one side or another? Do you get evidence that they're very biased in their opinions? So that's what you're going to look for as you look at it. It's not just a summary of the editorial. You will summarize a little bit, but it's more about how do we look for point of view and bias. So what should this look like on Odysseyware? So it should be 2 big paragraphs. One paragraph for your first editorial and the second paragraph for your second editorial. You should use maybe a quote or 2 from your source in each of your 2 paragraphs. At the very end of the document, you're going to have a source list. Right here in this yellow box is how you can cite it. So you'll put the author of the editorial, the title of it, the name of the publisher, which will probably be like the name of the website, like Los Angeles Times or Fox News or whatever, the date of the publication, and then you'll put in the link, the URL link. You can put these at the bottom of the document. Please make sure you edit. All right. We've had some issues already with short answers. It is really important that you check your spelling and your grammar. Odysseyware gives you an opportunity to do that, but you can also use a regular, Word document and edit it that way before you turn it in. It is 100 points. So as you're working on this, you need to be thinking about, am I doing enough quality work for 100 points? If it's a couple sentences and that's it, I'm going to reassign it, and then you got to redo the whole thing. So you want to make sure that you're putting forth a pretty good effort on this. And if you need a little extra time until next week, that's fine too. All right. Make sure your sentences are complete. Make sure you look at the directions and you follow all of those. You can type your response right into Odysseyware. So you'll get to the project, you open it up, and it'll be like a short answer section. It'll say essay, project, whatever, and you can type right in there, and that's fine. But if you don't want to do that, like if you'd like to work on it in another document, you can do that in Odysseyware. You can open up a Google Doc and type it in there and save it a little bit at a time and edit it. And then when you're finished, you can either just copy it right from your Google Doc and paste it back into the Odysseyware. Or if you make it as a Word document, a Microsoft Word document, there is a place at the bottom where you can upload a document. Now, I can't access all of this from your end, but I think that you can even upload a Google Doc. I'm not sure. Don't share the doc with me. It has to go into Odysseyware somewhere. But those are a few options if you don't like to type right into Odysseyware, where it's a little harder to edit sometimes. All right, so that's what it should look like. This is the rubric that I took right off of Odysseyware. So again, you can look at this. You'll notice it's 100 points. 20 points is spelling, capitalization, and grammar. So please don't forget about that. All right, 20 points is organization. 2 paragraphs where you present your information in each paragraph about each editorial. And then obviously 60 points is that you answer all parts of the question. So make sure you look over the rubric. It is on Odysseyware, but it's also here, so you can always come back to this if you'd like. Where can you find an editorial? Well, you can find an editorial anywhere. You can go into Google, and let's say you want to do something on the climate change that I used earlier. You could put climate change plus editorial and come up with something. Or maybe you're really interested in Black Lives Matter. then you could use that and look for an editorial. Now, you're not looking for an article, you're looking for an editorial, an opinion piece on it. Or maybe you're really interested in, the fires that are happening in California and what's being done about that. So you can pick whatever you want. You can even pick something from history. If you really like history, you can go and pick something from the past and what people's opinions are. There's lots of choices. These are some sites, some links to news organizations. Notice they have opinion in them. They're not just the regular, site. So you can use these. Now, some of these, like the Washington Post and the New York Times, sometimes require you to have a subscription. Usually you can get maybe an article or two for free before they bug you to buy it. So you could try it, see if it works. All right, it doesn't always work for me either. But you can also find your own. And I'm going to put these links in the email so that you can also have that as well. So if you're still confused, if you're still not sure what you're doing, I can help you. So I have office hours today from 12 to 1, and I have office hours tomorrow from 9 to 9:30. I hope you read, I sent to you an attachment, I think it was yesterday, about office hours. So I just answer emails, or I can Zoom independently, individually, with one person if you want. But usually I just answer emails. So you can send me a quick email today if you've seen this and you have questions. I'm also going to run a special Zoom tomorrow morning as a help session for just this project. So I'm not going to really answer other questions about other things related to Odysseyware at that session. It's just for the 7th graders who are doing this project. So tomorrow morning from 10 to 10:30, you can click on the link and you can come into the Zoom. Please make sure you've watched this. Obviously you have if you're hearing me, but I will answer questions if you have questions. So let me know. You can always email me. It doesn't have to be during office hours. So if you have a question and it's not during office hours, you can send the email anyway. I just might not answer it right away. All right, so I hope this helps you guys. I hope that, we can get through the first project. All right, so I will reassign it if you don't do well. So it's not like if you do poorly that you're going to totally, bomb Kaola for the rest of the year. That's not going to be the issue. All right, I'll just reassign it and you'll have to redo it. All right, so just keep that in mind. Try to do your best effort first so you don't have to redo it again. All right, so I look forward to helping anybody who needs any help, and I look forward to hearing about what editorials you could find. So have a nice day today, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.